Mikel, I think it would be fair to say that the week that has just passed, starting with the game against Wolves, has been pretty good for Arsenal, both on and off the field. How do you reflect on the past few days?
Yeah, very intense, as you mentioned. A lot had happened on the field with a really good win in special circumstances against Wolves. Then obviously with the decision of Miles, that is a big boost for the squad as well. And then having to travel again in Europe away 3 days later to try to conclude the group stage in the best possible manner to end the right to be in with the last 16. We've done it in a convincing way, winning, and now we skipped 2 games as well, which is really positive.
You've often been at great pains to stress how much you believe in this team and the strength and the mentality that they've shown. Does the last few days underline that confidence that you have in everybody?
Yes, certainly this season has been a big test. We have any doubt about managing situations, challenging unexpected circumstances, and how the team was going to react. I think those doubts have been resolved. I've been extremely proud and happy about how the team really faces issues and doesn't use that to use any sort of excuse, or how we can add value, how we can add things within the team to be better and be extremely competitive like we've been. So I think we're in a good place.
Every one of the big clubs, every club in the Premier League starts the season with a plan, and you can only plan for what you believe may happen. You can't plan for every eventuality. Has your planning been tested at times this season, for you personally and for everybody? And how have you coped with that?
Well, we already knew that the size of the squad was very short. So we had 19 outfield players, which is to play for competition, and especially with 3 players that they were coming back from long-term injuries was a risk. We had to accept that. We have tried to manage that in the best possible way. And on top of that, as you said, some other things happened that probably they weren't in that plan, but is a reality. Basically, how you imagine something and actually how it happens is a daily decision making, adapt to the new things that are in front of you, and always keep moving.
Traditionally, I think we always take the view that the big clubs in the January window tend not to do an awful lot of business. But the fact that you are active, to the fact that Manchester City, who you play at the weekend, have been very active, does that perhaps tell us how the pressures of the modern game are changing people's activities?
Yes, probably. Obviously, there are big demands. In the last few years already in the Premier League is changed. There are clubs that have spent and they've been extremely active. With us, it's down again to 2 major injuries with Bukayo and Gabi Jesus, obviously, that has put the front line in a more stressful situation. And as I said many times, we're actively trying to do something, but that player has to be really someone that is going to impact the team.
I absolutely wouldn't expect you to talk about players that are at other clubs, wherever they may be, home or abroad. But January, as we said anyway, a difficult month to acquire players, but to acquire a player in the area of the field that you're particularly looking for, how much difficulty is that, and how optimistic can you be that you may be able to do something?
Well, we know that's a reality, and if you look back historically, the deals that have been done in that position, very, very rare and difficult, but I'm confident with the people that we have at the club, with what we are trying to do, and basically that we do everything we possibly can to achieve it. And then the outcome, we don't know it yet. It doesn't depend only on us, but the intention is clear.
Looking ahead to the Manchester City game itself, obviously we have to go back to what happened at the Etibad. It was a game that certainly ignited perhaps a real rivalry. Do you feel that the rivalry has cranked up between you two now, given the fact that you've pushed them so hard in the last couple of seasons?
Well, the fact that obviously we've been toe-to-toe in the last 2 Premier League seasons, till the last day, trying to achieve what we want, and they are the champions, so it's something that we have to end there right now to possess. And we came very, very, very short, but we didn't manage it, and obviously that desire is that, but that's it, there is nothing else there.
In any other season, perhaps going to Manchester City and coming away with a point would be a reason to celebrate, but it wasn't a result you felt you really celebrated. Did you feel that was one that slipped away from you, maybe outside of your control?
Yes, and well, not because of obviously what happened in the game, especially in the second half or 50 minutes that we have to play with 10 men, but as well for the effort that we put in and how we suffer and deal with that circumstance in an unbelievable way. So the last second of the game that's taken away from you, it's painful, and it was painful on the day.
What was interesting following that result was that Manchester City hit a patch of form, a blip, I think, a big blip. Were you surprised at that moment coming to them, given what they've achieved, given what they have in terms of resource?
Yeah, but I think you have to put the context as well of certain situations that they had within the squad. But it shows as well, the difficulty of the Premier League. The competitiveness is going to a different level again this season, and the margins are so small for every team, and you have to earn the right to win every game.
In your opinion, and I think I probably know what you're going to say, are they a team that are still in the title race?
Yes.
What makes you say that with such a...
History, pure history, and the fact that I work there and I know everybody there, and if there's a team that has the capacity to go and win every game, we know which one is it. So I think they have earned that respect.
Clearly for Arsenal, in the situation that you're in, you're chasing the title, you're chasing in the Champions League, you could still make a Carabao Cup final, but looking at this game in isolation, people will say a number of times this season, a must-win game. You want to win every game, that's how you win titles. Is it a must-win game with the games that are still to come, or is it a not-lose game?
We want to prepare the game to win it, that's for sure, and that's the ambition and the only thing that we're going to be discussing in every room, every conversation with the players.
It's a game that could centre very much around who wins the midfield battle this weekend. Do you sense, perhaps with the problems that City are having, that is an area that you can capitalise with the players that you might have?
I hope it was as simple as that, but you have a lot of battles, mini battles, circumstances, details, and an individual quality that you have to overcome to beat them.
Let's look ahead one game after that. Obviously, it's Newcastle. Clearly, we've talked at the beginning of this interview about it being a pivotal week ahead. If Arsenal could go to Newcastle and turn that around, which many people are expecting you not to be able to do, would that be as big a success as beating Manchester City this weekend, or would it in fact be an even bigger achievement in terms of the development mentally of your team and belief?
Let's go game by game, but that one would be different for sure. It's a very special situation that we are in, the opportunity to play a final, and for sure we're going to give it a real go and explore every opportunity to make that happen.
This is a club, as you know, and you know lots about the history of this club. When you think about them going to Anfield back in the day and winning the title there, they've been to Old Trafford and won titles. Is that sort of spirit needed to go to St James's Park? And is that the spirit that you need for Arsenal to win titles and trophies, to find that within you?
That's down to belief, You have to go and believe, first of all, that you are able to do it. Then you have to understand how you're going to do it and after execute it. But everything starts there, and the preparation will be fully focused on that.
A lot of people, when Manchester City hit this blip, would have expected Arsenal to immediately step into the forefront, given how hard you've pushed them in recent seasons. And in fact, I think, to be fair, any other season with that points total and the goals you scored, you would have won the title. Were you surprised that you found opposition in Liverpool throwing down a gauntlet as well to you, or were you not as surprised as
No, I'm not surprised, because they have very strong foundations for the last 10 years, and they've been in this situation and in this context for many years. Last season they were till February, I think it was. So I'm not surprised at all. But that's the level of this league, that you have 4, 5, 6 contenders every season, and you need to be at your very best, and sometimes that's not even enough. So that's the level.
You have great ambitions for this club. You've made it clear that you want to build your own dynasty here and create your own history and legacy. How vital is it for you this season that Arsenal lift major silverware, whether that be the Premier League title, whether it be a trophy at Wembley, whether it be in the Champions League, to underline that you are better than just being second best?
Yeah, this is what we're going to try with everything that we absolutely have every single day. That's the ambition.
Do you think you're close?
Well, I think that's a fact, that we are very close, and as you said, with what we already done, probably the outcome should have been different. The reality is that it wasn't, so that shows you the level.